Sorry about that. Click a few buttons here, and yeah, I think we're off. Today we're moving on with something new, which is a little, I don't know, third-person game. Something new. I'm kind of out of ideas right now, so I'm just putting together a little series of making something new. That was silly, I know. But basically, I'm just taking the assets I've got, the code I've written over the last few years, what I can find free online, and I'm going to throw them all together as quickly as possible and make a game. So, yeah, let's flip over to the main scene. This is as far as we got right now. This took about 90 minutes of actual work time. There's a 30-minute video, part one, already up. Yeah, let's see where we're at. We've got our little dude here, doesn't have a name yet. Comments if you want, give him a name. It's just a free asset. Everything here is from one provider. I think it's called Polytope Studio. Their assets are free on Unity Asset Store. The third-person controller, I do not know the name of it, but I can find out if anyone wants to know. You can see that asset in the previous video. Importing of that. What I did to get to where we are now. Anyway, oh, excuse me. One thing I did do in the off screen, I think I added a little skybox, which is another free asset, which came with all this stuff, and I cleaned up, got rid of some of the terrain because it was getting a bit laggy. At this point, we obviously need to deal with chunking the terrain, things like that. I was basically just trying to overload it and see what was going on. Yeah. So the first thing I'm going to change is I'm going to work on picking up this axe and arming our man with it. Now this is my player inventory system, which I developed what 2 years ago for another project, which it turned out to be pretty good. You literally just drop this inventory system prefab into your game, and about 90% of the functionality works out of the box. Pick up items, you can select items, you can drop item. Oh, what's the drop button? Q. Yeah. You can have an inventory panel, character panel. There's a crafting panel, but I can't remember. Oh, there it is. Crafting panel. Yeah. So that's already included in the game with my inventory system. Okay. That is not currently available on the asset store because I really suck at documentation. But if you want it, ask. I might post it up on my website somewhere. Okay. So the first thing I want to improve is the size of this. My original plan was that we would have no UI. And the player would just see everything from this perspective. I don't know why the mouse keeps appearing or disappearing. And then if you wanted to interact with things, you would hold down the right mouse button and it would show you what you could do. It would show a menu similar to, I guess, Star Citizen interface where they have menus in the world, but a little bit better done. Yeah. So I want to try and do that, and then the character, the item bar would show up again when you selected, held down the right mouse button. You know what I mean? Okay, and so we have no game controller or anything yet. This is just all free assets doing their own thing. I haven't looked at how to integrate them yet. But yeah, let's see. Obviously, we can work on lighting and reduce the number of trees and the grass and things like that later. This is all just Unity's terrain, painting, everything that it was included in the Polytope Studio assets, which are really thorough. I really like these, so I recommend them for anyone who wants to just get a game going, just get some ideas out there. So anyway, so let's go into our player inventory system. So this is all the items, these are all the items that are included standard with it, all pre-programmed. The null item, zero item. A wood block. Can you tell this was made for a Minecraft type game? Would have found it useful in other things. Check out fideltfg.hio, and there's a game there called RDAF, which makes good use of this for what it is. Anyway, back to. So we've got wood blocks, stone blocks, dirt blocks, iron ore, gold ore, leather, diamonds, wooden planks, wooden sticks, coal, torches, helmets, tunics, things like that. Okay, all of these come with an icon, and all of them come with. Where'd that go? Come on. There it is. Couple of prefabs. So we have the singular and the multiple prefabs. And we have a world prefab. Well, that is. Which one has a world? Not many of them have him. No, chest, I believe, has a world prefab. Yes. Yeah. Things like that. So the chest. There you go. Okay. A little trick I learned the other day was that if I go to the player, maybe zoom in, and then I select chest, and we should press Control Shift F, the chest jumps to the camera. I always just use this for moving the camera, but it can be quite easy if you've lost something and you just want it to come here rather than going off looking for it. Of course, then you've got to reset the rotation and stuff like that, but hey, it saves a lot of flying around. So there's our world object for the chest. See? It doesn't look like much, but it's a chest. And if we click on it, maybe it'll open. No, we've got to work on that. Yeah. We also need to update all these assets to use the new Unity input system. Currently, they're all using the old one, but still works. So before we go much further with that, we can. Yeah, we'll look into that stuff later. What should we work on first? We know we can pick up items, so we know that's working. We know we can select them and drop them. We cannot currently arm them. I think there's a missing piece in the inventory controller. Actually tells us, there we go, yeah, player. So the player needs to go here. Yeah, I'm not sure. Just have a look at the code. Although I think it might actually find the player on its own, because it found the. Let me just check that. I said it's a couple of years since I wrote this. Let me look here, sorry. As you may or may not notice, I do no preparation for these videos. I just sit down and go at it, so you get everything au naturel, uncut, for the most part. Unless it's long periods of me staring at the screen doing nothing, which this might become. Let's see. Player. I wasn't too bad with documenting this. I've been working on it. Easy way to find it. Quick find. Player, inventory capacity, place time. Come on. Player. It's just a game object. So, and just find all references and have a look at this here. So on the start, if player is null, it looks for the player name tag. The game object with a tag player. Let's go look and make sure we tagged him. We may or may not have. Yes, he's already tagged. Okay. That was obviously done by a previous developer who made the assets. Thank you very much. This made my life easier. All right. And that's why we never saw this error. Okay, if it has no player event controller, it gives it one. So let's just check that. They are. Some of you may ask why I have a wide screen. When names get this long, then you've got your inspector tiny on the side of the screen, or maybe 1080p size. Yeah. So anyway, player has a inventory controller. That's good. Pickup sound is not set. Why? Not important. Okay, yeah, that bit works. So what that does then, okay, why this is here, I don't know. It basically just turns off Unity's frame rate limiters, from what I understand. It seems to make a difference and make the games play a lot nicer. Anyway, so then we create an instance of the controller. Okay, and that is used quite extensively, as you see. So that's important. Create a player inventory. Creates a player inventory first. Okay. What this is actually doing is creating a list in memory. Here. Order for the inventories in the system. So she says inventories. Yeah. So the player has his own inventory. A chest has an inventory, and NPCs can have inventories. Stores can have inventories. You can use the inventory for many different things. So that's why the inventory controller is not called player inventory controller. Inventory player controller is basically just, if I'm right, it's been a while. Oh no, I didn't do that. Correct me if I'm wrong there, sir. I always, okay. Player inventory controller is different from inventory controller. Okay. But if we go inventory controller is the system inventory controller. The inventory controller holds all the inventories in the game, or in the, let's change that, makes sense. Game. Okay. All inventories in the game. So, and this is the hold for all chest inventories. So I decided to do this way because chests need to be tracked over saves, so the contents of them for the player's chests, or any chest placed in the world. When the game saves, those chests are mapped, right, and then encrypted and saved on the player's computer or device. Yes, they are encrypted on purpose to stop hacking. It's not a great encryption, but you do need the source, to get that. Anyway, I don't want to spill too many beans about my custom encryption system, so let's carry on here. Dropped items. Okay, this is a list of items that are dropped in the world. So again, when the game saves, these can be respawned. Placed items, same thing. Dropped items, chests, stuff like that. That's what all these are for. So this sets the default capacity for the player's inventory. It has to be a multiple of 4. Okay, 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28. Stuff like that. Right. Yeah. Set true to load saved inventory. Inventory. Save the inventory. Right. Yeah. And static accessors. Blah blah blah. And yeah, this is the old input system. See, we need to update this. Player. Okay, yeah, these just holders for everything. We don't need to go line by line through everything. So we create the inventory, then we add inventory, the item bar inventory. Wow. Yeah. For some reason, I mapped these out and set the actual place in the list of these just to make it easier. These would never change. You're not going to add an inventory type mid-game, or if you, so yeah, there's no point in making this dynamic or anything. You can hard code those values, but basically we're adding inventory. We add the player inventory, we add the item bar inventory, crafting table, character panel, inventory of current held item. Oh yeah, this is an inventory of 1, which literally does that. It lets you place items in it, and these items will appear as being held by the player. And then the crafting output inventory. Yeah. I'm all about adapting code when it's first written to be as flexible as possible. I know a lot of people believe that code should do a single task. When I wrote the inventory system, that was my original goal. It was just like, oh, I need something to show what the player's carrying, and then you can select them, and then I need to be able to add these items to the player or put them down on the ground. Or what about storing them in chests? And all these added up to what we have here. And it's basically just an inventory, a list. All this system is based on a simple dictionary. You know, a dictionary of inventories. An inventory of inventories. Basically, dictionary inventory. Okay. Inventory just means list of items, list of stores, that type of thing. And dictionary means a ordered list of items. Or technically ordered list of words, which is what we're using. So anyway. An inventory of inventories, the inventory list. So let's have a look at the inventory itself. Oh, that's a list. So it's a list of lists of lists. And the final list is a slot in that list. All right. So you can kind of think of it like a three-dimensional, a cube, where you can add layers to the cube by adding more inventories or whatever, and then you can access that whole storehouse or inventory through a coordinate system by, let's go back here. See, so we've added a new inventory at index 10 on this one. So we have our inventory list, which is here, which is not set its size, I don't believe. I think we don't think we ever really. No? No, this just gets it. No, we don't actually limit the size of the inventory. Inventory, not inventory. Sorry. I was a soldier, so the words are kind of similar in my head. Past all that. There we go. Yeah. So using the coordinates, so we can say we know that the item bar inventory is at slot 10 in the, or on shelf 10, I guess you'd say. That kind of thing. On the character panel is on shelf 6, and so on and so on. These numbers here denote the size, but I'm not sure what. We'll get to that later when we need to. Anyways, then we set up and configure the inventory panel. Okay, and then we build the item bar. And then we set up and configure the crafting panel and character panel. And then the chest panel. Okay, all of these are turned off. The build, the inventory panel build. So we tell it which inventory to use to build the inventory panel, which is the main this one. Okay. Then we item bar. Now if you look, inventory panel is an inventory system panel. Okay, and the item bar is also an inventory system panel, and so on and so on. Okay, so these are all the inventory system panels, what actually holds access to the inventory. So we told this one, the item bar, to build. We go to item bar, inventory. Here we go to the base, and this is saves where it is. It saves its own location, basically. Grid layout, group, cell size. This sets up the Windows stuff. Yeah, that's all there is to it. There isn't actually that much to it. A lot more of it is on the slot, I guess. Let's go further down. find it. There those slots and slot controller. Yeah. So the slot can be in a chest, yeah, or elsewhere. I guess they act slightly differently. If it's elsewhere, if it's selected, it just is its own thing. Yeah. One update if mouse open. A lot of this I can change because I wrote this before I knew too much about callbacks. As you see, I'm still using registers, which is fine, but it adds more steps to achieve a simpler goal. But we'll leave it this method here, just slows things down a little bit. It's nothing tremendous. Yeah, so register slot changed callback, register slots changed, increment slot count, save items, stack count, set the item. So this is what's called when an item is put into the slot. Your new item, so if it's not null, obviously. Sorry, if it is null, we set the item null. Otherwise, if the item in the slot is the same as the one that's, sorry, the item that we're trying to put into the slot is the same as the one that's already in the slot, or the slot type is inventory. I'll have to remember what the type is. We can add this to the slot, the item to the slot. And if the slot changed, okay, and we know that because when we add the item, I don't know how it knows at this point. I was pretty sure that it happened. So if slot changed is not equal to null. I don't know. I'd have to hunt through the code and figure out why. Oh, simplify. Yeah, go on. Let's see what it's going to do. Its idea of simplification was... Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. So... Okay. So... There's a lot of ifs here. I'm not a big fan of ifs, but anymore. I don't like thinking if this or if that. I like to know. But we'll see about that later. Method to set the stack count of the item. Okay, blah, blah, blah. Okay. This obviously all works anyway. So, you know what? I need to check. 30 minutes. Okay, we're good. Play inventory. Docs. Read me. There we go. There's the read. I did try with this one. But we'll see. I don't think I finished the PDF version. Let's this HTML version. Oh, nope. Come on, I was pretty sure I actually did do all. do some typos while I go through. Okay, you don't need to see me this. Right. But at least you're getting to have a quick read through of the docs and see that it is how it actually works. Here we go. Slots. Each panel contains a number of slots that are capable of holding one item. Items can be stacked in a slot if they are the same. The number of items that can be stacked is defined in the item catalog. See the inventory items section above for more details. By default, the inventory is set up with 24 slots. The item bar, the crafting bar panel with 10, and the character panel with 6. Chess panels differ depending on the number of slots assigned when created. Yeah, because you can have different sized chests on the fly. That kind of contradicts what I said earlier on about being able to add different types of chests, but it's not really a different type. It's just it's a variation on a chest. Okay. Okay, slots display the sprite as defined in the item catalog of any item it contains, as well as the number of items stacked there. Items that are single or cannot be stacked will not display the number, the stack count, basically. If the item has a max durability value greater than 0, the slot will also display a bar to indicate the item's current durability. A slot that can only hold items that have a matching slot type set in infinite. A slot can only hold items that have a matching slot type in the item catalog. A head slot can only hold items with slot type head. Most slots have the default slot type setting of inventory, with the exception of those on the character panel and the crafting panel's output slot. Items can only be placed in slots that are marked as slot type inventory or that match the item's slot type in the item catalog. This is yeah. Yeah. Some people need to be told twice, so we'll leave that. Slots reaction to the interaction to interaction, reaction to interaction may differ depending on the panel it's on. Below are the details on what a slot will do by default. Left click any slot to pick up the item or stack of items it holds. Okay, let's see if that still works. All right, let's pick up the axe, and I can left. No, that's not working. Left click an empty slot to place held items in the slot. Okay, so when you're holding an item, you left click it to put it back down. If you left click on a slot that contains the same items you're holding, the item or items you are holding will be combined with those already in the slot. Any excess will remain in hand. However, if the stack being clicked is already full, the two will be swapped. So if you got 1 in your hand and 10 in the stack, and you click the stack, you're going to pick up 9 and leave 1 behind. Okay. Yeah. You can only pick up the maximum stack count. You can't pick up 2 stacks or anything like that. So if you tried to put, if the maximum stack count of an item is 10, you had 1 in your hand, you went to put it down, you obviously can't do that because you're going to exceed the max stack count. And rather than give no feedback, we just switch them. The system assumes that you're trying to pick up rather than put down, and you pick up the difference. You take the maximum amount. Okay. Right click on a stack of items to pick up half the stack, and right click on a slot to place one of the held items into the slot. Okay. Then shift click will move the contents of the clicks. Oh, well, sorry, I left my phone right under the microphone. 1 moment. Check. That's probably going to happen again, so don't worry too much about it. Okay, left shift click will move the contents of the click slot depending on the following. Okay. Note that space in the following includes that left in other stacks of the same item. Items will fill these stacks first. Okay. That doesn't make sense, but it did at the time I wrote it. If the slot is shift-clicked, if the slot shift-clicked is on the item bar, the inventory panel or chest panel, and the slot contains a wearable item, clothing or weapons, and the character panel is open, then the item will be moved onto the character, swapping with the existing item if there is one. Okay. Quick explanation then. So, character panel. There it is. If this were wearable, which it is, it's an axe, obviously we can use it, and I shift click it, it should jump up to here, or whichever hand it is assigned in the item catalog. If you look in here, see, we can find it. I think it's a diamond axe. Here we go. Yeah. We have a maximum stack size of 1, so you can only carry 1 in each slot. Excuse me again, my telephone. Yay. I'm going to have to put this on hold for a while because real life takes precedence. Let's just say that's as far as we're getting today on this one. Yeah, or maybe no. I'll be back later. Have a great one. Bye-bye.